Ukrainian soldiers rejoiced with residents in the streets of Kherson following the withdrawal of Russian forces, but authorities warn it's not safe yet. Climate activists gather for the largest demonstration seen at the COP27 conference in Egypt, while similar rallies sweep across Europe. Anti-government protests continue in Iran as German Chancellor Olaf Scholz warns Tehran of fresh EU sanctions. Ukrainian soldiers rejoiced with residents in the streets of Kherson following the withdrawal of Russian forces. Reports suggest Ukrainian police officers have returned to the southern city, while Ukraine's troops are searching for possible explosives left behind by the Russians. Authorities in Kherson have warned residents that it's still too dangerous to return to their homes just yet. Russia's defense ministry has released a video purportedly showing Russian servicemen undergoing intensive training in Belarus. Meanwhile, Belarusian border authorities have released footage which they claim shows Ukrainian officers planting mines close to the border between the two countries. Moscow announced last month that thousands of troops were to be stationed in Belarus, heightening fears of a fresh Russian offensive. The elusive British artist Banksy has unveiled his latest work, a gymnast painted onto a bombed-out building in Borodyanka on the outskirts of Kyiv. The latest piece appeared on the artist's Instagram with the caption, "Borodyanka, Ukraine." A number of murals in the style of Banksy have appeared in and around Kyiv, prompting speculation the artist may be working in the country.
The oceans are rising, and so are we!
Hundreds of activists gathered at the COP27 climate conference in Sharm el-Sheikh on Saturday, demanding an end to fossil fuels and for Western countries to pay for the damage caused by climate change. It's the biggest protest to have taken place at this year's climate conference.
Continue to demand drastic emission cuts and climate reparations from the countries that are historically responsible for our destruction, especially for loss and damage, but also adaptation and mitigation.
We want action. We don't want them to divert attention. We don't want side shows. We want climate action and we want climate justice. So as we march, let us march. Let our voice be heard.
Meanwhile, climate rallies were held in several European cities. In Madrid, Greenpeace led protests demanding an end to fossil fuels. And hundreds of anti-coal demonstrators in Western Germany spoke out against the expansion of a coal mine. The Kurdish city of Saqqez in western Iran is on strike. It's the hometown of Mahsa Amini, who died in hospital after being arrested by the country's Marathi police. Her death sparked weeks of nationwide anti-government protests, the largest seen in Iran for decades. On Saturday, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz strongly criticised the Iranian government and promised fresh EU sanctions.
The European Union has already adopted a number of sanctions packages. The principal focus is on all those who are responsible for this violence against their own people. Further sanctions are due to be added to this next week. We want to continue to step up the pressure on the Revolutionary Guard Corps and the political leadership. We are supporting efforts to gather evidence so that the perpetrators can be brought to justice.
Human rights groups claim Iranian security forces have killed at least 326 people as they look to crack down on the demonstrations.
Thousands of Albanians have joined protests led by opposition parties against the current government policies and the rising cost of living. They're demonstrating outside the Prime Minister's office in Tirana. Authorities have deployed more than 1,000 police officers to the scene as main roads in the capital are blocked.
Hundreds of people were stranded at Valencia airport on Saturday after a storm flooded the runway and left planes grounded for several hours. Thousands were left without power across the country, and a 17-year-old boy was killed after a tree collapsed on top of him. Rainfall was particularly heavy in the southeastern region of Valencia, which remains on orange alert.